Hey everybody, this is Strategywizard again. Today I'm going to be doing an overview of what it is to be in this hobby as a board game nerd, basically. I mean, and really this is for people who are new to the hobby. I just want to kind of show what is out there, what's available, and to start off, I think I'm going to do a few parts to this series, but the first part is just the basics. I just want people to realize, you know, for people who aren't maybe really into the hobby, it can maybe be a little overwhelming. There's just thousands and thousands of games. Of course, a lot of them, things go out of print and come back into print. Everything that's out there isn't always available, but there's tons and tons of games. How do you know what's good? How do you know, what do you want to put in your collection? Because there's good games that you won't like. I mean, that's why on Board Game Geek you'll see that if you go to BoardGameGeek.com, you can look at all these different games that are out there, and you can see what people think. And there are people who think this game is a 10, and other people think that same game is a 1. So obviously, it's not a universal thing. Not everyone agrees on what's good. So I guess I want to start off by just showing this. Whenever you're getting into the board game hobby nowadays, modern board gaming is mostly about designer board games. And I know that may sound like a strange concept, and it may sound just a little, I don't know, quirky, but it's a big thing. And the reason why is because there are people whose job is to design board games. That is their career. And their name is going to be on these games a lot of the time. I mean, you have, for example, you have Mysterium. I mean, that's a big one. We have Oleksandr Nevsky and Oleg Sidorenko. Now, I might be pronouncing those wrong, but the point is, these games tell you who made them. And the reason why is because over time, as you get into the hobby, you'll find out that there are certain designers that you like more than others. It's important to see that name. It's kind of like watching a movie. You might like Lord of the Rings, therefore you like Peter Jackson. Or maybe you like Steven Spielberg. I mean, you get this feeling of who you like, who does things that fit your genre or just your style. Same thing here. I mean, there's really, really popular board game designers out there that people follow. They like a lot. Me, in particular, I don't pay as much attention to the designers just because I'm more focused on genre of game and the mechanics. But different people have different reasons for getting the games they like. You might like a certain designer like Martin Wallace. He's really popular. I mean, and of course, Reiner Knizia, Dr. Reiner Knizia, he's really popular, made tons and tons of games. And he's known for making a lot of really good ones. Not everyone likes everything he does, but you know, you learn these names and you know who's good over time. In my case, like I say, I like a few things. What motivates me is theme. Theme is a big one for me. Not only do I want to enjoy the theme, I mean, I like fantasy, I like sci-fi, I like mystery, but even more important than the theme itself is the integration of the mechanics into the theme. And in these designer board games, a lot of them are done very well. It's very effective how the theme is translated to the mechanics and vice versa. So, you know, you have, and here's the other thing. Whenever you're getting into this hobby, you have so many options. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes. You get tubes, you get little bitty, itty bitty boxes. You get big box games like Forbidden Stars, Humongous, and a whole range of different variety and, you know, different cost. I mean, some games are very expensive, some games are very cheap. And that's another thing you have to evaluate is cost to value. And it's not always, you can't always know exactly if you're going to like it until you play it. So there's a little bit of risk there, but in my case, I'm good at knowing usually what it is I like. So as long as I can get enough information, just a little bit of information on how the game's played, I usually know. And then you get into a whole other world of expansions. A lot of these games, not all of them, but a lot of these have expansions, which means that your cost is going to go up if you want to get everything. I'm somewhat of a completionist, so I try to get everything on a game that I like. And Mysterium, which I hope to review in the relatively near future, will be a good example. Mysterium is a really great game. I really enjoy it. I'm giving away that part of the review already. I'll tell you exactly how much I like it whenever I get to that point. But Mysterium's awesome. Really, really enjoyable game, and it has 2 expansions. Usually, just to be honest, whenever you get an expansion, the price versus how much you get is typically, from my experience, not as efficient as it is if you get just the base game. The base game is usually, you get a lot of stuff for the price, in my opinion. Expansions, not so much, but that's understandable. They're making something that people want to add on. Not as many people are going to buy it, so they have to raise the price a little bit for for the smaller amount that you're getting, because they need to get their money back. And for people like me who like having more options for a given game to give it more replayability, that's worth it. You have to look at that anytime you buy a game. Does it have expansions? Are you going to want to get them? All those things matter. You're looking at so many different aspects of, do you like strategy? Do you like luck? Do you like dice? Do you like hand management? Do you like deck building? Because whenever you're used to just the basic Monopoly, Clue, Trouble, all those old classic games, Trivial Pursuit, Stratego, Risk, you have those. Most people have experience with those basic games, but now there's so much more. The mechanics are so much more in depth in what's available. I mean, Risk is your basic army strategy game, and a lot of people enjoy it, but it's a long game and it's very luck driven. Nowadays you can get what people call dudes on a map, which just you have armies and you're attacking each other. You can get that, and you can have a lot more variety. There's tons of different ones, tons. So if you like that, you can get so many different things. Forbidden Stars is a good example. You have all these spaceships and you're moving them around, and it's not just all about the dice. There are dice in it, but they're way less. They're not so controlling of the outcome of a battle. So you have more control. So I mean, the point is, if you or like me, you grew up, you played a lot of these classic board games, you enjoyed them, you liked them, but you felt like, there could be more, there should be more. And the depth wasn't there, and the replayability maybe wasn't there. This is the time, I'm telling you. There's an unfathomable amount of options out here. You can find them. You can see what you like, and you can replace all those old games with something new and better, in my opinion. I don't want to be too aggressive on that point, but it really is amazing. There's pretty much always a version of an old game. There's something new that it's not identical, of course, and it's not even necessarily mechanically similar, but the theme, like Monopoly. If you like Monopoly, you like that, money, trying to get the most money, trying to get conglomerates of all these different properties. If you like that, there's a game for you that's new and has more strategy, has more interest going on as far as the play style. I mean, and I'll probably go over I'll go over cases like this in a future video. But there's almost every case, if not every case, of a classic game that you like and thought could be better. There is a better version of it now. You'll be amazed at the opportunities that you have to find something that fits just your style. And I'll give you a great example. My wife asked me one day if there was such a thing as a board game where you got to make life choices, and you got to, that included dice. She likes dice rolling, so she wanted a game with dice that had life choices where you could choose things as far as your career and whatnot. And she might have had, I think she might even had another one or two requirements that she was looking for this theoretical game. And immediately I thought, I know exactly the game for her. And that game was, and is, CV. CV is a game where which stands for Curriculum Vitae, in case you're interested. What makes it interesting is, you're making choices. You're rolling dice, which gives you the opportunity to buy cards, and these cards are basically choosing what your life path is. Are you going to get married? Are you going to have kids? Are you going to get a job, a career at your dad's job? Are you going to end up being a magician? Are you going to just be a businessman, and then you get to do things like buy properties and stuff like that? I mean, it gave exactly what you wanted. Back in a long time ago, you couldn't have had opportunities like this where you could imagine a game that you would like to have existed, and it just happens to exist. Nowadays, almost everything exists. At least I say that. I'm sure people are going to continue to come out with wild new things that people have never thought of before. But it's just amazing that there's so much variety out there. If you can think of it, it's probably out there for you. So find what you like. Find, what level of strategy do you enjoy? I like a lot of strategy normally. That's my preference. Do you like having a lot of theme in your games, or do you like it where it's just more abstract? And there's lots of those. I mean, you have tons of options out here. So I just wanted to throw this out as an introduction to this. There's just more options than you could imagine if you're new to this hobby. So keep your eyes open, and I'm going to make another video about this soon, about Board Game Geek. I'm talking about how powerful the tool that is for helping you and other things that you can use to help yourself find out what you like and make sure that you spend your money in a way that you're satisfied with. So hopefully you found this video helpful as an introduction to what's out there and what you can look forward to. And I'll try to, and if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see in a video like this, please let me know in the comments, and I will continue making videos. And if you like them, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.